Good morning, everybody. Sorry you got a couple minutes late there. Busy mornings as they usually do. Didn't make sense what I just said. Busy mornings as they usually do. Busy mornings as they sometimes happen. Um, let's see. Let's take a peek at. Well, before we get into Forex here, let's take a look at. Real quick, I want to take a look at the cryptocurrency market because we've had a lot of activity in that area overnight, getting into some breakout ranges and moves, and our Forex markets will be here for a second. Let's see. We've got where are we? Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin has really done a pretty standard, what we like to see in a rising market is a stair step. This is a common phrase that markets take the stairs up, but they take an elevator down. This is a stair step up. It's a pretty standard, kind of normal, healthy move up that we're seeing on the hourly. So this is a pretty good, pretty healthy move, and we can see that a lot of the other cryptocurrencies themselves have started to have equally high rises. Ethereum especially has had some dramatic increase. We've gone up almost 75% of its previous value, which is really nice. So that's good. I mean, we should just keep looking at this market and looking for it to continue to grow and expand. But let's take a look at our trades from yesterday. So on the euro, we wanted to go short at a pullback to 122.68. We did not get that far. So this is actually showing some great weakness because we fell below this channel and now we are failing to really trade above it. It has actually really pulled off south from this level and is not showing any desire to try and trade up again. So that's kind of an important thing to watch. We'll see what happens when we were looking for a bounce here yesterday. That price may come down here. So we'll want to see what happens if price breaks below this zone. That should be pretty bearish. In fact, it's probably not a bad area to short currently. I mean, if we look really closely in here, we see that when price did come back, it retraced back up to the conversion line, or the baseline rather, and now we're sitting at the conversion line. So pretty heavy selling right here, and I don't think that we should expect a lot of follow through buying if unless we can't break this low that was set yesterday. So we probably should be looking at a short. If we didn't get in up here, maybe looking at currently with our risk kind of a little bit limited to the high up here. So the short at 122.0 essentially, it could be a good short. Especially if we return to that kind of a number, it's almost kind of a given in some way. Looking at the pound, similar situation. Retracing back up to this arc a little bit. That is pretty normal. That's kind of the next area that we wanted to get short at. Looking at it from this perspective, we're at 139.51, so we're 50 pips from the 140, which is an important psychological level, and we're 50 pips from breaking down even further. Now we did trade down below if we remember, we're below the 8, 4, and 1 hour cloud. And what's important here is that the 8 hour cloud, we've had a fall through in the 8 hour cloud. And that has not happened in, we haven't had a sustained break of the 8 hour cloud and a sustained break lower in quite some time. So that is a kind of a big deal. This is a appropriate shorting area because we wanted to short at a pullback to 140.20. We did not get that, so it's very possible. We should probably look for a short when price crosses the conversion line and the baseline here. So we probably should look at the short at return to 139.40. Just kind of a flattened out trade over that we experienced. And let's see, we've also got where are we at? UJ, we wanted to go long on the dollar yen at a break and hold above 108.28. We did get that, and that has been working out nicely. We're really gonna blaze. We're at 108.95 now. What's the path of least resistance right here? It's further up. Okay, there's a lot more. In fact, why don't we scroll out here? Let's go to the 4 hour. Clean this up a little bit. Our most recent swing was in November. Okay, and let's look at that volume at price, volume profile. So this is a good example of how the volume profile works. So you see this zone right here between, really 107.59 and then all the way here to 108.71. Look at this zone right here. This is in volume price analysis, or they call this the volume profile. The strategy that's utilized is looking for high volume nodes and low volume nodes, or peaks and troughs. So, and I call them deserts. I call anything that has really no volume traded in between zones a desert. And what happens when price gets to these areas that have been previously traded and there's not a lot of activity? Volume gets sucked into it like a vacuum. All right, because there's not a lot of support or resistance here. When price approaches it like it does from the bottom, it's easy for price to move into it. Okay, it does not take a lot of effort to move up from below. All right, and now as we look above us here, where do we see the next zone of that happening? Right here, from 109.65 to 110.65, so about 100 pips. We have another zone that is very easy to go from low to high. All right, so this move that we had was a very easy move, and that when that fills up, that's pretty normal activity. So we should look to see that kind of behavior continue as we move higher, especially when we get to these low volume nodes. All right. So the dollar yen, holding that trade from 108.28, we're still holding that. I mean, we're obviously in 60 pips of profit. No point in peeling that off at all. Then the other trade we had was the New Zealand dollar. We wanted to short the New Zealand dollar, or we wanted to go long at 71.17, and that has worked out. We actually got all the way up to 171.30. The pullback was weak. so I got into a choppy trade here when I entered in this trade, and then it kind of wasn't really going anywhere. Then I closed, and it did, and I re-entered, and I enter into that same. I make mistakes like anybody else, so it's easy to, especially after a market moves a whole lot and really fast. It's easy to kind of get caught up in that rhythm and think that that's going to continue. So when we see that prices are just kind of sitting in an area and they're not going to move anywhere else, then we can fall victim to to just the former rhythm and the move and get stuck in this area where it's not going to move a lot. And that's what happened to me. So I did go back short on this. So okay, now let's look at the other markets. Look at the pound, euro pound. Little selling there. Might be a good selling opportunity. We'll have to see though. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Slight pullback. I think we're safe. Possibly entering a long here at a break at a return to 128.51. Okay, and then Aussie dollar looks similar to the kind of chart we looked at with the New Zealand dollar. Really strong sell bar here. Could probably see some more follow through to the downside at this level. That pullback was kind of weak. You know, where's that support level at? Probably below the arc here. If I zoom in and then and then we right here and here. We're probably looking at a return to the 75 value area for our next major support zone. So we should expect to see some selling continue here, especially based on this hourly condition. Continue to see some follow through with the Aussie dollar. So could probably wait until we get to 75.90. We'll want to break into a hole at 75.90 before we. New Zealand dollar is doing its thing. It's falling even farther now. We break this angle, break the support zone. You know, we're looking for some lower and lower prices. Get some good moves. Gold. Weak as hell. Weak. Ooh, it's at an important inflection area here. Let's get gold on our Ichimoku. Yep. 1 hour chart. Gold's fallen through its 8-hour cloud. So, you know, in actuality, gold may be a pretty good short here. Yeah, it is. Below the 1, the 4, and the 8-hour cloud. That's a good signal. Take a look here. I think that's a safe place to be participating in a short. Okay, take a peek at the euro again. Probably good shorting zone. Pound dollar. Pound dollar, we did that short already. Euro pound. Gosh, euro pound's a tough one to look at here. We're in the hourly, so we don't want to take a trade. We're, you know, that the 8-hour cloud, we're like in a little bit above it, but still the lagging span of the 8 hours below. It's euro pound's a really choppy trade right now. It's a tough one. Dollar yen is a little easier. Okay, we went up to 109. We'll see how much higher we want to push this guy. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Looks like we may break back above the 8-hour here pretty soon. We did just cross above the lagging span of the 4-hour. We did just cross above. Overnight. Not overnight. Yeah, it kind of was overnight, wasn't it? Let's see here. Yesterday morning, really. But we had a nice bounce off of the. If we look at this, we've had we traded above the 8-hour for just a little bit, but now we found some bouncing and support off of the top of the 8-hour cloud, which also coincided with the baseline of the 1-hour. So that's a good sign. Aussie dollar again. Let's take a look at that. Got a lot of weakness. We really want to get a close below the conversion line and the baseline for some further move down. We shall see how that plays out. Otherwise, unfortunately, it looks like our turnaround Tuesday has not done a lot of turning around. We're still kind of stuck in a lot of these little ranges. Not a lot of movements going on. And I was looking at, over the afternoon and looking at whether there were any important day counts or Gann counts that we need to be aware of, and there wasn't really a whole bunch of things to really identify as big movers. Because we had such a big push down last week and a lot of major, counter trend moves, it's really not uncommon for us to have a period of days or even a week of things kind of basing and resting and everybody kind of calming down, where bulls are wondering, is it safe to get back in? Was this just a minor pullback? Or actually, it wasn't a minor pullback, especially in the pound dollar. Or the bears are wondering, are the bulls, are they kind of exhausted? Are they done? There's a lot of those kind of questions that are mulling around in people's minds. Certainly, we have a bias of a lot of these trends turning here right now, and until something changes where we would see them going in the opposite direction back into their former trends, right now we are looking at continuing to hold these biases for at least a few months of a reversal on these trends. So again, long term, looking at those monthly and weekly charts, we do have a lot of reasons for further prices moving down in the pound dollar, the euro dollar, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and seeing more rises in the dollar yen. This is a pretty nice bullish move right here. To look at the volume on this pump up, it's fairly significant. We shouldn't want to be shorting this right now, especially as we get up into the 109 and rest. The next level's 110, so let's watch out for those levels, watch out for these moves, and let's capitalize on these prices. And this is going to be a really short day because there really wasn't a whole lot to analyze, but if we get some continuation in a direction, we may have more to talk about tomorrow, but otherwise we're kind of just watching these zones sit where they are. So again, the trade that we've got on the euro is we wanted to short at 122 at 122 flat, and then we wanted to go short on the pound dollar on a return to 1394, and the US dollar Canadian dollar, we wanted to go long at a return to 128.51. We're about 9 pips from that zone, so we're wanting to get above these previous highs. Aussie dollar, want to go short at a break and hold of 175.9, so we're looking at below these lows here. Then that's well below the conversion and the baseline. And then on gold, we wanted to short really right at that 123.67 and watch to see where if we can break down farther below this level here. All right. So we've got some good moves coming up, and we should see some further weakness in these pairs. And yeah, we should anticipate some continued momentum and drive down, especially with the gold trade here, because we've finally gone below the 8-hour cloud in price and we've gone below the 8-hour with the lagging span, that this is a good area to be shorting, because this is a good structural weakness that we've been looking for, and should capitalize on. So yeah, anyways, short day, but you know, don't want to keep you guys here longer if we don't need to be, and otherwise we run the risk of looking to take trades that we want when there aren't any to take, and that is dangerous. Anyways, hope you guys have a good Tuesday. Hope you guys had a great Monday. If you got trades that are still in profit from last week, hang on to them, because they're probably going to keep going the direction we want them to go. And yeah, we'll talk with you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.